Alcatraz Island, a towering rock emerging from the frigid waters of San Francisco Bay, evokes images of infamy and despair. For decades, its cells housed some of America's most notorious criminals, and the echoes of their dark stories seem to resonate within the cold, damp walls. This place, marked by so many sinister tales, is the perfect stage to explore one of the most disturbing aspects of the human experience, the manifestation of what transcends logical comprehension. But first, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. The fascination with places like this is not merely a morbid interest, but a quest for answers to the inexplicable. What happens when the energy of so many extreme emotions accumulates in a confined space? Alcatraz's history is replete with whispered tales, fleeting figures seen in empty corridors, and noises that defy any rational explanation. The very atmosphere of the place seems to carry a weight, a presence waiting to be felt. As we delve into the universe of dark mysteries surrounding Alcatraz, we are invited to question the thin line between reality and the beyond. The concrete walls, once symbols of impenetrable security, now seem like guardians of secrets that only those who lived and died there could reveal. At every corner, in every dark cell, an untold story hides, waiting for its moment to surface. Investigating these phenomena requires an open yet skeptical mind. We need to separate folklore from genuine experiences, urban legends from sightings confirmed by those who served in this prison. Curiosity drives us, fueled by the promise of unraveling one of America's most persistent enigmas, where the past refuses to be forgotten, maintaining a strong connection with the present. Therefore, prepare yourself for a deep immersion into one of the most haunted places in the world. We will explore the accounts of Alcatraz, not to feed unfounded fears, but to understand the persistence of certain energies and how they seem to manifest, creating a scenario of suspense and awe. Alcatraz's cells, designed to contain the most dangerous men, ironically became receptacles for something more intangible and, for many, more terrifying. Solitude, despair, and fear were constant companions to the prisoners, and it is speculated that these emotions left an indelible mark on the island's physical structures. Guards and staff, over the years, have reported inexplicable experiences that challenge logic and reason, from whispers that seem to come from nowhere to the sensation of being watched in completely empty cells. The accounts are consistent and disturbing. Many describe the appearance of ethereal figures, shadowy forms that cross the corridors or stand still in the shadows, silently observing. These apparitions, often fleeting, leave a deep mark on those who witness them. The infamous Block C, in particular, is frequently cited as one of the epicenters of paranormal activity. The atmosphere there is described as heavy, oppressive, with reports of apparitions of prisoners who served time in that wing. The sense of presence is so strong that some staff refuse to work alone, preferring the company of colleagues even for routine tasks. Another intriguing aspect is the sounds. Dragging chains, banging on closed doors, muffled screams echoing through the corridors, sounds that cannot be attributed to natural or mechanical causes. These ghostly noises add a layer of auditory terror to the experience, amplifying the feeling that the island is never truly empty. These phenomena are not isolated. They form a pattern of experiences reported by individuals in different periods and roles within the prison. The question that arises is, how can psychic energy leave such lasting marks on a physical environment? And what is the true meaning of these echoes from the past that seem to haunt Alcatraz? One of the most intriguing cases that adds a layer of modern mystery to Alcatraz is the legend surrounding D.B. Cooper, the hijacker who disappeared without a trace. Although his escape occurred in 1971, long before Alcatraz was closed as a federal prison, the island became a point of speculation and debate about his ultimate fate. Some theorists believe that the island, with its isolated location and history of escapes, albeit failed ones, could have been a hiding place or a transit point for Cooper. The narrative is strengthened by the idea that if he wanted to disappear completely, Alcatraz offered an ideal setting to blend in, even after its time as a prison. Less conventional accounts mention apparitions of a dark, solitary figure wandering through the less explored corners of the island, especially in coastal areas and older ruins. This figure, sometimes described as elusive and shrouded in an aura of mystery, has fueled speculation that it could be Cooper's own spirit, eternally fleeing or guarding a secret. This connection, though speculative, adds a contemporary element to Alcatraz's dark mysteries. It links the island's criminal past with an unsolved enigma that captivates the popular imagination. The idea that one of American history's most famous fugitives could have a supernatural connection to this already grim place is fascinating. The story of D.B. Cooper at Alcatraz serves as a reminder that mystery can extend beyond the prison walls, reaching even modern urban legends. Could the echo of his unsolved escape contribute to the island's spectral energy, adding another chapter to its dark tales? One of the most persistent and documented accounts from Alcatraz involves a former prison guard who claims to have had encounters with the spirit of a specific inmate in the dreaded cell 11D, a place known for its extreme darkness and isolation. The story suggests that this prisoner, whose name is rarely mentioned, suffered from profound despair and loneliness, characteristics that may have been crucial to the phenomenon. The guard, whose name is kept confidential for security reasons, described the sensation of being constantly watched as he passed by the cell. He reported hearing inaudible whispers and, on occasion, glimpsing a slender, dark figure standing at the back of the cell, even when he knew it was empty. The intensity of these experiences led him to believe it was not his imagination. This belief solidified after hearing similar accounts from other guards, some more skeptical than him initially. The consistency of the descriptions, such as the cold temperature emanating from the cell and the aura of deep sadness, began to create a compelling narrative about the spirit's presence. The idea is that the inmate's emotional energy became fixed there. The case of the ghostly agent of cell 11D is an example of how intense human emotions can, theoretically, leave a psychic trace. The cell, designed to inflict psychological suffering, may have inadvertently become a magnet for the residual energy of an individual in agony. The question is whether this energy is a mere memory or a conscious presence. Exploring these details helps us understand the mechanisms that may be behind haunting phenomena. Extreme loneliness and continuous suffering, when combined with a conducive environment, seem to be catalysts for what we call paranormal activity, especially in places laden with history like Alcatraz. The area known as Death Row in Alcatraz, where prisoners awaited final sentences, is frequently associated with a particularly dark energy. The fear and apprehension inherent in those final moments are said to have left a deep mark on the walls and atmosphere of the place. Accounts from guards and visitors describe a palpable sense of anguish and despair when crossing this area. Hearing voices with no apparent origin is one of the most recurrent phenomena reported in this section of the prison. Whispers, laments, and in some cases low screams that seem to echo from within the abandoned cells themselves. These auditory manifestations are described as chilling and disturbing, often occurring in moments of absolute silence, which amplifies the fear. Some paranormal investigators suggest that the extreme emotions experienced by these inmates, such as the fear of death and remorse, could have permeated the environment. The theory is that these psychic energies do not dissipate easily, especially in a place designed for isolation and forced reflection. Despite the lack of direct physical evidence, the consistency of testimonies over the years lends significant weight to these accounts. The idea that the last words or thoughts of individuals in despair may still echo in these empty corridors is one of Alcatraz's most evocative, dark mysteries. This persistence of sounds, even decades after the prison's closure, raises questions about the nature of consciousness and its possible connection to the environment. What exactly constitutes a haunting? Are they echoes of memories or something more? Alcatraz's old laundry room is another focal point for reports of paranormal activity, a place where the atmosphere was already one of hard and confined work. Many staff members reported experiencing a drastic, unexplained drop in temperature upon entering this area, even on warm days. This cold, often described as bone-chilling, is a common indicator of supposed spectral presence. In addition to temperature fluctuations, there are consistent reports of fleeting figures and moving shadows. Guards patrolling the area mention seeing dark shapes darting across their peripheral vision or standing in dark corners, only to disappear when they tried to approach for investigation. These apparitions are usually fleeting and indefinite. Some more detailed accounts describe a specific figure, sometimes associated with a former prisoner, who allegedly suffered a serious accident or violent death within the laundry room. The idea is that the energy of this traumatic event may have become fixed at the location, creating a persistent presence that manifests in subtle ways. This combination of anomalous physical sensations, such as the cold, and visual sightings creates a compelling scenario for the mystery surrounding the laundry room. It's an example of how the physical environment can interact with psychic energy left by past events, resulting in disturbing experiences for the living. These testimonies, collected from various sources over time, reinforce Alcatraz's reputation as a place where the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds seems thinnest. The laundry room, with its memories of hard labor and possibly tragedy, continues to be a stage for these supernatural dark mysteries. Alcatraz's small hospital, though less known than the detention wings, also has its own stories of dark mysteries. Reports from former staff and even visitors describe the presence of a pale, ethereal figure associated with a patient who allegedly died of illness in the infirmary. This entity is often described as motionless and watchful. The apparition, nicknamed the Pale Man, is known for its ghost-like appearance, with translucent skin and vacant eyes. It is often seen standing at the foot of a bed or observing the hospital corridors. Its presence is described as melancholic and non-threatening, but nonetheless unsettling. Curiously, this entity rarely makes noise, but its mere appearance is enough to cause apprehension. Some believe its persistence at the location is a manifestation of unresolved pain or a strong attachment to the place where it spent its final moments. The energy of suffering and resignation seems to be the common thread. These accounts, even without concrete evidence, contribute to Alcatraz's tapestry of hauntings. They suggest that each area of the prison carries its own unique emotional and spiritual weight, shaped by the experiences of those who lived there and, in some cases, died there. Alcatraz's hospital, therefore, adds another chapter to its supernatural tales, showing that even the less prominent locations can hold stories of presences that refuse to leave. Keeping the island shrouded in a mantle of mystery, Alcatraz's very structure, with its thick walls, narrow corridors, and the constant cry of despair and loneliness, may have created an environment conducive to the retention of psychic energy. The theory suggests that places of intense human suffering can act as magnets for this energy, storing it and manifesting it in subtle ways over time. These manifestations can range from feelings of unease and apprehension to more defined visual and auditory sightings. It is believed that the prisoner's extreme emotions, such as fear, anger, and despair, left an indelible mark on the environment, something skeptics call psychic memory. When analyzing Alcatraz's dark mysteries, it is important to consider this perspective, that the prison itself, as a whole, has become a reservoir of emotional energy. The island, surrounded by cold water, with its history of isolation, amplifies the sense that the past has never truly gone, and it is this interconnection between the physical and the psychic that makes Alcatraz so fascinating. The stories we hear are not just ghost tales, but possible manifestations of how human energy, in its most extreme forms, can interact with the world around it, leaving a legacy of mystery. Understanding Alcatraz from this perspective allows us to move beyond superficial fear, exploring the complexity of consciousness and the persistence of certain energies. The island remains an enigma, a place where past and present seem to merge in an eternal spectral embrace. The fundamental question that arises as we explore Alcatraz's accounts is, why does this place continue to exert such fascination and generate so many haunting stories? The answer probably lies in a combination of historical, psychological, and, for believers, spiritual factors. The prison's very fame as one of the world's most secure and impenetrable locations creates an intriguing paradox. The transition from a maximum security prison to a popular tourist attraction has added a new layer of complexity. Now, thousands of people visit annually, many seeking supernatural experiences, which may, for some, increase suggestion and the perception of paranormal activity. The already charged atmosphere, combined with visitor expectations, creates fertile ground. Furthermore, Alcatraz's history is intrinsically linked to criminality and human suffering. The energy of so many lives, marked by transgression, isolation, and lack of freedom, may have accumulated in a way that defies conventional explanations. The dark mysteries seem to sprout from this emotional density. The resilience of these stories suggests something deeper than mere legends. Perhaps our fascination with the inexplicable, especially in places associated with extreme human experiences, is a constant in the human psyche. Alcatraz, with its dark aura and turbulent past, offers a perfect stage for this exploration. The persistence of these accounts invites us to reflect on the nature of memory, energy, and what can transcend physical life. Alcatraz is not just an abandoned building. It is a repository of stories, emotions, and for many, presences that refuse to be forgotten. At the end of our journey through Alcatraz's stories, it is clear that the island transcends its identity as an old prison. It has become a symbol of the persistence of the past and the mystery that resides in places laden with history and human emotion. The accounts of apparitions, sounds, and anomalous sensations, though lacking definitive scientific proof, continue to fuel imagination and curiosity. Alcatraz's dark beauty lies in its ability to make us question the limits of reality. It invites us to consider the possibility that psychic energy, memories imbued in objects, and echoes of past lives can indeed influence the present. These are not just ghost stories, but reflections on the nature of consciousness and the universe. For those who seek the extraordinary, Alcatraz offers a portal to the inexplicable, an invitation to explore the dark mysteries that surround us. The island serves as a reminder that even in structures of concrete and steel designed to contain, something more intangible can find a way to persist. If you have visited Alcatraz or are intrigued by its stories, share your experience or opinion in the comments below. What do you believe happens in these places of intense energy? We would love to hear your perspectives on the enigmas Alcatraz holds. And if you enjoyed this exploration of Alcatraz's mysteries, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into stories that defy logic and transport us to the threshold of the unknown. Stay with us in the pursuit of answers.